And I was talking on here yesterday, like I had a couple friends that if I were to ever go against anything that they said, if if they didn't agree with it, they would shut me down and make me feel like I was stupid for even feeling that way in the first place and just completely incorrect. And there must be something wrong with me that I'm not in the same mind frame or mindset as they are. Yeah, they're not friends. I had to really take a look at stuff in the new year, and I was like, oh my God, Lauren, I was like, actually some of these interactions with these so-called friends are like actually abusive relationships. And I was talking to my friend Doug about it yesterday, and I was just like, how freeing is that to be able to actually have a voice and not be told you're wrong all the time? Like, how can a person be wrong all the damn time? I don't think, and I know that I'm smart enough, whatever's coming out of my mouth can't be completely off the wall. And I consider myself to be like an emotionally intelligent person. And I always have others' feelings at the forefront of my head. And now that I took a step back, I'm like, I don't think that these people have my feelings at the forefront of their head. They want you to believe the same as they so they can, yes, I know, right? Oh my God, Butch is like Gandhi right now because that's literally the conclusion I came to. And now my eyes are like being opened, and it's scary a little bit because I'm having to go through like a whole grieving process of the people that I thought were my friends. And then I was like, actually, I was just their like playful, good time sidekick. And anytime it came time for me, they weren't really there for me. And I found that out on this book release. Um, and, four of my friends showed up, and three of my friends actually bought the book. It was $15, and three of my friends bought it. And I was like, you know what? Those are my true friends. Like, those really are my true friends. And more so than that, more so than the whole test of like, oh, which of my friends is going to pay the $15? Do I mean $15 to them? Which apparently I don't to most of them. But oh, thank you, Butch. But the bigger picture is like it has transpired into me looking into, wow, which of my people in my life allow me to have a voice and don't try to contradict everything I say, because I do not contradict anything they say. I am the type of friend that I'm not going to be the one to play devil's advocate here. I'm not going to try to show you another perspective unless you specifically ask for it. And I'm a huge, huge believer in the hey, spaceman. I'm a huge believer in don't give advice unless the person specifically asks for it. Otherwise, you look pretentious and condescending. You kind of look like an asshole. And then that's going to make the other person like slowly move away from you as a human. If you're that person that feels the need to constantly correct others, and even if something I say isn't 100% factual, if I'm constantly being corrected, it it dims me. It dims my light. It dims my energy. It dims my voice. I will start to get quieter and quieter and quieter till there's no actual me left. And the person that you're left with is just a shell of a human being that is just trying to be the good pal. Hey, Doug. It might be a different Doug. I don't know if it's my Doug because it just shows, I don't know, it doesn't show a face. So it might actually be a different Doug. Um, but yeah, like who wants to be a shell of themselves just to appease the world or appease certain friends or family? And it's just not a way I want to live my life. And I've said it again. No, I'm not married. Um, I said it before, I'll say it again, completely cool with the small circle. I don't know how I got into this web of people who I thought were friends, but are actually just acquaintances. And I was like, actually, I don't know if I want these people as acquaintances. But these are the things that we have to, you know, I think that this is one of my hurdles in life is I had to go out into the woods for 2 months on my own and figure out what it felt like to, oh, North Carolina. I love North Carolina. I love Asheville. They had some good hiking. Um, but yeah, just to figure out who I was in absence of this and in absence of this. People telling me what they think I should do. Um, and it's almost as if like some people were trying to mold me because they wanted to control me, because they want my warmth. And I have been told a million times how warm of a person I am. And now I'm starting to realize that that's actually like a fucking commodity. And people want that. They want to grab it and they don't want to just share it or, be warm themselves. Life is short. If you wake up, it's a great day. Enjoy every second. Dance in the food store. I overanalyze things, and that's who I am. So I'm going to dance and I'm going to overanalyze, and I'm going to bitch and vent the good, the bad, the pretty, the ugly people. I'm not a singer. I do occasionally rap. I really like to rap. And I'm lagging. Hmm, I don't know. Maybe it's the internet here. Not sure. But yeah, you're gonna see the full spectrum of human, and I think that that's important to showcase, especially on social media, because there is a lot of what I think you see on social media, because I don't really do a ton of scrolling myself. Um, I don't spend much time looking at other people's lives because one of the quotes I really agree with is, and this is important for us all to hear, is comparison is the thief of joy. And you can't really compare your life to others. And I think that's kind of what scrolling does in a way, is it shows us other people's lives and they're only showcasing mostly the good parts, and it makes them feel good to get likes, and I have nothing against that. I'm on here too. Um, every, I got nothing against an ego boost for good people. Good people deserve ego boosts in this world. I got nothing against it, but it is unhealthy, I think, if you're caught in that pattern where you're constantly exposed to only the good parts of somebody's life, and then you scroll, 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 you keep seeing and seeing and seeing. And then you think, well, my life isn't like that. Like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with my life? And you start to, some people, not everybody, you start to think, well, that's the life I want. And then you start, trying to do certain things that you think would be just as cool or just as pretty, to almost emulate that subconsciously. Is that mic a prop? No, it's working mic for all I know. Unless we're having some technical difficulties. Oh, Damon, good question. Oh my God. So I do hope that the Bills win the Super Bowl. However, based on performances, I would say that that's probably not happening. I would want the Steelers to win. As I said on here yesterday, I'm kind of rooting for oh, good. I'm not going to jinx it. I'm still going to hold out hope. Um, Steelers, I want like I am kind of rooting for Aaron Rodgers because he's into psychedelics and I'm in that world too. And plus, if the guy's retiring, like it's always nice to see somebody go out with like a Super Bowl retirement. When Tom Brady retired, he didn't, have a Super Bowl winning season, his very last season, but at least the second to last. he got another Super Bowl, and I was living in Tampa at the time, which was a hell of a party. So that was awesome. And they gave away free seats to the Super Bowl for healthcare workers. So I was hoping that I was going to be one of them, but I think they only gave those free seats to people that worked in the hospital, and I was working outpatient, so I wasn't in the trenches of COVID. I guess you had to actually be, around COVID. I was doing testing for COVID during that time, and that was interesting. And um, part of it was I was doing the testing outside of the urgent care center. And I always remember there was a lovely couple who asked me what I would like from Starbucks. And so I will always remember that Starbucks coffee from those Good Samaritans in Zephyrhills, Florida. Um, but yeah, and if it's not the Steelers, my third choice, I think this is Drake May's second season. Um, but so I guess he's like still kind of a rookie. Steelers. Um, but I just think Drake May's cute. He's a child, but I do think that he's cute. And a lot of times, I'm shameless. I will kind of vote for the team that has the cute players. I had to look up TJ Watt yesterday, and I was like, oh my God, like TJ Watt's hot. I don't know how old these people are. They're probably just like 20s. But I was like, I wouldn't mind if that little dude you know, won the Super Bowl. And if not them, I think probably I would like to see Jaguars above them because I do have a friend that lives in Jacksonville. And, you're always kind of rooting for the underdogs. I'm always rooting for the underdogs, but I have to be a Bills fan in this household. Plus, aside from having to be um, a Bills fan, I genuinely am one because I said Josh Allen is a stud. And I know he's like married and having a baby. But he's kind of dreamy. He's a dreamy person. And don't we all like to watch pretty people? Do we not? Um, so those are my thoughts on football. The Pittsburgh Ravens game was wild yesterday, though. That was wild. And like I said, I didn't even know who I was rooting for because, part of my family is from Maryland, the other part is from Pennsylvania. So I was like, I'm conflicted here. Um, you know, uh, TJ Watt probably swayed me. He's a stud as he's a stud. So, all right, we got done about that part. Let's see. Yeah, if people can bring up happy stuff, you can get me going on happy tangents. I do appreciate it. Um, One thing I wanted to discuss tonight was, oh, wait. Before I do anything else, let's take care of this. So Crazy Man suggested that I try Aquanet hairspray. And I am just amazed at how much product you get for $3.19. I was like, oh my God, like, where have you been all my life? All day weather. I was like, I need that. I was like, I visit Florida. There's a lot of humidity. Um, Here, there's a lot of like wind happening in the area. There's like a bunch of snow happening. I need all weather protection for fuck's sake. And extra, I don't know if they come in like um different holds, like medium, mild, super, extra, super, but I assume that extra super is the most holdy kind of them all. So I might have to put this mic down when I give this a whirl. I don't know, why am I scared? I feel like this thing is like gonna like fucking put the house in flames or something. Like it's fucking flammable. Like I'm gonna set the whole place on fire. All right. Damn. I keep I can already feel it super, super holdy. It looks kind of wet. Oh my god. This little guy. This is what I've been doing. I was after like curling it under. Do I have to like pat it down? I needed to a tutorial. Now I kind of look crazy. Oh my god. Hopefully Crazy Man is seeing this because I bought the fucking thing still. Maybe it needs to dry. We'll give it a chance to dry. Otherwise, I've done all I can do. And if I just have to have a piece of hair sticking up out of my head, for the rest of my life, by golly, I can live with that. And to parlay off of somebody else's comment, the great Pitbull once said, "Every day above ground is a great day. Remember that." So now we were going to talk about power imbalances. And I had to kind of explain, one of my friends today, I think Spaceman's watching. I have a tendency to go into avoidance mode when I'm just internally not feeling my best. And I'm not internally feeling my best right now because I'm in an unhealthy physical circumstance in my life. And one of my ideas was to drive out to Arizona and start my trails and treats business and do my hiking guides. And or my other idea was to go to Florida temporarily, live with Doug until I got my feet on the ground with something. But it is difficult for me to really figure out what I'm doing because I have a strong gut feeling that I need to be doing a through hike this year. So the Appalachian Trail and the Pacific Crest Trail both would start like early May for me. A lot of people started in April. I am a fast hiker, so I would be starting in May. Um, and also, Ulta Beauty World is April 16th, and I really want to go to Ulta Beauty World because it's going to be in Orlando. And so I would just really want to make sure that that I can do that before I go on my hike. And apparently, I want a bunch of beauty products before I disappear into the woods for 4 months because I'll be. Which doesn't even make any sense because I won't be bringing one beauty product with me on this trail. And if y'all are lucky, I'll be able to get Starlink and live stream what's going on the trail. So that should be uh, it, an interesting watch. It always is with me. I thought I was going to be in the woods by myself for these 2 months when I went over the summer. No, I was not. I was meeting people every day, and the stories that came out of that were just incredible. Um, but that leads me to the topic of power and balance and my tendency to go into avoidance mode. I have determined that it is best for me if I get together with friends, if I have money I can spend. And no, friendships shouldn't be like this. And I've had plenty of friends offer to pay for my food or, do this or that. It makes me uncomfortable to have people pay for things for me. I'm very much, even when I visited Florida and my friends wanted to go out to eat, I was very adamant of, this sounds kind of pathetic, but I had a packet of tuna in my like mini backpack I use as a purse at all times because I was uncomfortable with the idea of them paying for me. And I have not gone out to eat since maybe I've gone out to eat like 2 or 3 times since I quit my job. And you really shouldn't be going out to eat if you're like unemployed. So that's just not like a nicety that I can do right now. And Whitney ended up like getting a meal, and she got a bunch of appetizers for the table, and she wanted to treat me and my friend Maria. So I was like, okay, well, at least I'm not the only one taking right now. And she knows that I was very reluctant to even accept it or like take a bite, but I'm very weird about that. And it's a good idea for me to maintain a sense of autonomy as much as possible, especially in this time because it makes me feel good about myself as a human. And if I'm staying at somebody's place, or if I'm quote unquote taking from them by being in their physical space, then the least I could do is pay for some groceries or treat them to something. And so it's really important that I'm able to do that if I'm staying in somebody else's home, even if I'm visiting them and they, want to see me in return. Nobody, nobody can visit me right now, essentially, unless they get a hotel. I'm living with I'm sure they would be cool with somebody, spending the night or whatever, but it's not it's not an ideal environment for somebody to spend the night here. So I've been in this position where, and I've been renting rooms for a while. I haven't had a place of my own um, for a while now. I'm a transient, I'm a gypsy. This is what I do. I couch surf. Um, not proud of it. Uh, Trying to get my life together, kind of. But if I'm taking from somebody, I need to be in a position where I'm able to give back. And I don't want anyone to take that away from me. And whether that's, I craft a lot, I do a lot, I bake and I craft and I do all these things, that take time and soul and, creative, whatever to put into it. And I give things out like that. Like when I was making soaps, I would give those out at as gifts. Like thank you for letting me sleep on your couch. Like here's a soap. Sounds lame, but these soaps had the highest quality oils in them. They were actually pretty supreme soaps. And I gave them out as like little gifts to my friends and everything. But right now, it would make me feel so uncomfortable to see any of my friends, acquaintances, whatever, and not be able to pay my own way. And frankly, I have like $1,000 left in my account, but that $1,000 has to like my car insurance, my bills until I start actually make money. So I don't have assets. All I have, if my car breaks down, blah, 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 I have $1,000. So I can't really go out to eat and spend $25 on a meal, let alone how much, the tip is going to cost and stuff like that. So I need to be really, really like frugal in order to make it. And I just hope my friends understand that and just know that it comes from a place of if I actually agree to go out with you somewhere, do an activity, something, I need it to be 100% free. You're not paying for anything. I'm not paying for anything. And that's just the way I need it to be for right now. Otherwise, um, I can't accept anything monetary from anybody because it makes me feel very uncomfortable as a person and it makes me feel less than. And I know that's on me. I take responsibility. That's on me. That's a complex I have. If you want to bring a psychologist in here, I'm sure they'd have a lot to say. I know these things. I'm very self aware. And I ask the people in my life to just please respect that. And I think that some people just genuinely want to help me. And I don't know that I'm very helpable right now. I think that I need to help myself first. Um, and it's difficult because I know that if I was listening to somebody talk the way that I talk and I really cared about them, I would want to help them if I was in a position to help them. So I know that I'm probably hurting them in the meantime too. And it's just a really strange situation for me. Um, yeah, what do you do? You know, what do you do? I'm just trying to, get through each day, take it day by day. But yeah, I've had to have some frank conversations with the people in my life to respect. I mean, my feelings in this process of not wanting to take anything and that I actually just don't feel that great internally right now.